Hey kiddos, today we're going to be talking about long division with polynomials. So let's go over a few steps. First thing is setting up your long division problem. The divisor, which is what you're dividing by, goes on the outside of the box. The dividend, which you're dividing into, goes inside of your box. I'm referring to a box. This is what our box looks like when we're dividing. Okay, so divisor goes here. The dividend goes here. When you write out the dividends, make sure that you insert zeros for any missing terms. So for example, if you have 4x to the fourth power minus x plus 5, we're missing a few degrees here. The highest degree is the 4, so I'm looking at x to the fourth power, so that's why the highest degree is 4. And then the lowest degree, which is our plain numbers basically, or our x, is 1. So I'm missing the degrees of being raised to the third power and being raised to the second power. So I'm missing 2. So when I rewrite this problem, I would have 4x to the fourth plus 0x to the third plus 0x squared, and then minus x plus 5. Notice it should be in order from the highest degree to the lowest degree. So this will basically allow us to line up our terms when we go through our problem. So step 2 is that to blah, blah, blah. Step 2 states that you should divide the first term of the divisor by the first term of the dividend to get the first term of our quotient. Now the quotient is the answer, and that goes written above the division box, okay? So make sure that you line up the first term of the quotient with the term of the dividend that has the same degree. Step 3, take the term found in step 1 and multiply it times the divisor. So you're going to make sure that you line up all terms of the step with the term of the dividend that has the same degree. Step 4, you're going to subtract this from the line above. So you're going to make sure that you subtract every term found in step 3, not just the first one. Step 5, you basically repeat until you're done. When you get to step 6, you're going to write out your answer. Now, the quotient that you ended up with is on top of the division box, okay? If you have a remainder, then you're going to write it over the divisor in your final answer. All right, so let's look at our first example. We have 3x being divided into 6x cubed plus 3x squared minus 12x. So first you want to make sure is that you have all of your degrees that we need. So I got 3, 2, 1, so good to go there. So 3x, how many times does 3x go into 6x cubed? Well, I know 3 goes into 6 twice. And then x goes into x cubed twice, so that's x squared. So 3x goes into 6x cubed 2x squared times. So notice that's why I wrote it over the 3x squared. So now to work this out, I'm going to multiply that out. So I get 6x cubed, and then we would subtract. That gives me 0, which is what we want. So we're going to bring down the rest of this, which is 3x squared minus 12x. Now, how many times does 3x go into 3x squared? Well, that would be just one time. So it would be positive 1x. 1x times 3x is 3x squared. So when I subtract that, I get 0. Bring that down, minus 12x. All right, so last piece here. Basically, how many times does 3x go into the negative 12x? And since it's negative, there goes the minus. And it would be 3 times 4, so 4 times. No variable. So 4 times 3x gives me, negative 4 times gives me negative 12x. And then when we subtract those, that actually gives us a remainder of 0. So the answer for that question is 2x squared plus x minus 4. All right, I want you guys to do this next one on your own. It's very similar to the previous one, okay? All right, so looking at problem C here. So notice I got 2 terms on the outside. So x minus 2 is being divided into 3x squared minus x minus 10. I'm not missing any degrees, so I'm good to go. So first, starting off with x, how many times does x go into 3x squared? And that would be 3x times. So now I'm going to multiply 3x times x gives me 3x squared. And then 3x minus 2 gives me minus 6x. All right, so when I subtract that, that cancels out, which is what we want. And that, the double negative here, negative, negative, will actually turn this one into a positive. So it's really negative 1x minus positive 6, which really, when we add those, gives us a positive 5x. Bring down the minus 10. Now, same concept as before. X, how many times does x go into 5x? Hopefully see that would be 5 times. So it's going to be a positive 5. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. Subtract here. That cancels out. And coincidentally here, negative 10 minus a negative 10 results in that being positive. So that actually gives me 0. So the answer for this is 3x plus 5. You can always check your work here. If I were to take x minus 2 and FOIL it with 3x plus 5, I get 3x squared minus x minus 10. And that's how I know I did it right. So let's try another one. So 2x plus 3 is being divided into 2x squared minus 5x minus 12. So first make sure that we have all of our degrees. Got x squared, got x to the first power, so we got everything, so we don't have to add anything to that. So let's start dividing. So how many times does 2x go into 2x squared? That'll be 1x times. So now we're going to multiply this out. So x times 2x is 2x squared. X times positive 3 is positive 3x. All right, now let's do our subtraction. That cancels out, which is what we want. Okay, it's kind of a hint on how to figure out what's supposed to go here because we want this to cancel out. All right, so always think about that. So x times 3, oh, we already got that. So negative 5x minus a positive 3x leaves me with a negative 8x, and then I bring down that minus 12. All right, now, how many times does 2x go into negative 8x? Well, 2x goes into negative 8x 4 times. So notice I have that minus there, so it'd be minus 4. Negative 4 times 2x, negative 8x. Negative 4 times 2, or sorry, negative 4 times positive 3, negative 12. Ooh, may not have a remainder here. So now when I subtract these, remember, can't have two negatives, so this would actually change to a positive, as long as that would also change to a positive, and that would change to a positive, okay, because double negatives turn to positives. So negative 8 plus positive 8x now cancels out. Negative 12 plus positive 12 cancels out. So we're left with 0 as a remainder. So our final answer is x minus 4. All right, now let's move on to the next one. All right, so same concept. X goes into x squared one time. Sorry, backtrack. I already had checked that I had all my degrees here in order, so that's why I went ahead and started. Sorry, I had to sneeze real quick. Okay, so x goes into x squared, x 1x times. So now let's multiply this out. X times x gives me x squared. X times negative 1 is negative 1x. All right. So when I subtract here, those cancel out, which is what we want. Remember, here we have that double negative again, so those become positives. So negative 5x plus a positive 1x is actually negative 4x, and I will bring down that plus 3. Okay, so again here, how many times does x go into negative 4x? That's going to be negative, and that would be 4. So let's multiply that out now. Negative 4 times x is negative 4x. And negative 4 times negative 1 is positive 4. And all right. So when I work this out and I subtract it, negative 4, that becomes positive, so that cancels out. And then 3 minus positive 4 is a negative 1. And, oh, we can't go any further. So this is first problem where we have a remainder. So when I write out my answer, it's going to look like this. X minus 4. And because this remainder is negative, it's going to be minus. Now what you do with the remainder is you put it in the numerator, and then in denominator, so you're basically making a fraction with the remainder. The bottom of the fraction here is what we were dividing into, or what we were dividing with. So that would be the x minus 1. So that would be the whole answer. X minus 4 minus 1 over x minus 1. Okay, so let's look at the next problem. Okay, so we got 6. See, now this is all kind of written backwards. So I'm going to rewrite this. X plus 6, because x is still positive and the 6 is positive still. We're going to divide that. Ooh, I should probably make that a little bit shorter so I can have room at the top. Divide that by, see, now this is all out of order too, so I'm going to rearrange the order. Now, x squared is positive, so x squared. 9x is also positive, so that'll be plus 9x, and then the 6 is positive, so plus 6. So notice, just rewrite that whole problem anytime that happens. We have all the degrees, so let's jump on in. So x goes into x squared 1 time, so that's 1x. And now let's multiply. X times x is x squared. Remember, that's how you know you're doing this right, because we want that to cancel out. X times 6 is positive 6x. Okay, now when I subtract, those cancel out. 9 minus 6 is 3x, and I'll bring down that plus 6. All right, now how many times does x go into 3x? Hopefully you are saying 3 times, so plus 3. 3 times x is 3x, and 3 times 6, ooh, that's positive 18. Okay, now when I subtract, okay, perfect, that cancels out. That's what we want. 6 minus 18, ooh, leaves me with a negative 12. Ooh, I can't go any further, so that means, again, I have a remainder here. So when I write our answer, it's going to be the x plus 3. That's what we originally got. Now, my remainder is negative, so I know it's going to be a minus 12 all over the x plus 6. So that would be the answer for this problem. All right, now let's look at G. Notice it's not written as the other problem, so I need to go ahead and rewrite this. So it's going to be x squared minus 2x plus 2 is going to be on the outside. And what's on the inside, and I'm going to make sure I include everything. So here we got 2x to the 4th, that's the highest degree, plus 3x cubed. Now notice there is no squared, so I'm going to go ahead and include a 0x squared. Then I have the plus 5x and then the minus 1. All right, so let us jump into this madness. X squared goes into 2x to the 4th power 2x squared times. So notice I'm going to skip writing on top of the 2x to the 4th. I'm going to skip writing on 3x to the 3rd, and I'm going to write 2x to the 2nd power over the 0x squared. Now let's multiply this out. 2x squared times x squared is 2x to the 4th. And remember, that's what we need. We need those to be the same. So then we get 2x squared times negative 2x is negative, it's a horrible looking negative, negative 4x cubed. And then 2x squared plus 2 is positive 4x squared. Sorry, my voice kind of got a little weird right there. Haha. All right, so let's subtract. When we subtract, yay, those cancel out. Here we get, that changes into a positive, so that's actually a 7x cubed. And then 0 minus positive turns that into a negative 4x squared. And then I bring down the rest of this. All right, now, how many times does x squared go into 7x cubed? And that would be positive 7x. So 7x times. So 7x times x squared, 7x cubed. 7x times negative 2x is a negative 14x squared. And 7x times positive 2 is positive 14x. All right, so now when I subtract this, yay, those cancel out. Here, careful, we got that double negative, so that turns into a positive. So that's really positive 10x squared. Here, 5 minus 14x results in a negative 9x, and then I bring down that negative 1. All right, so let's try this again. X squared goes into 10x squared. How many times? Positive 10 times. It goes into 10 times. So 10 times x squared is 10x squared. Remember, that's what we want. Then 10 times negative 2x is negative 20x. And 10 times 2, positive 20. All right, so let's see what we get here when we subtract. Yay, those cancel out. That becomes positive, and negative 9 plus 20x is 11x. Negative 1 minus 20 is negative 21. So from here, x squared can no longer go into 11x because it's just an x. And that's x squared. So x squared can't even go into that once. So therefore, that would be where we'd have to stop. So we end up with a remainder. So our answer is going to be, when I write it out, we got 2x squared plus 7x plus 10. Now my remainder is positive, so I'm going to put a plus. And now remember, my remainder is going to be a fraction. It'll be 11x minus 21 over what we were dividing, which is the x squared minus 2x plus 2. So that would be the answer for this problem. All right, let's go to H. Again, not written in the proper form, so first thing I'm going to do is rewrite it. So we got 2x minus 1, and we're going to write 4x squared plus 6x plus 1. All right, so let's work this out. 2x goes into 4x squared 2x times. So 2x times 2x is 4x squared. 2x times negative 1, negative 2x. All right, so when we subtract that, that cancels out. That's what we want. And then 6 minus a negative 2, that becomes positive. So it's really 6 plus 2, which is 8x. Carry down the plus 1. So now 2x goes into 8x 4 times. So 4 times 2x is 8x, and then 4 times negative 1 is negative 4. All right, so when we subtract that, those cancel out. That's what we want. 1 minus a negative 4, that turns into a positive, so that's really actually 5. 2x can't go into 5. That's our remainder then. So our final answer will contain a remainder, and it is 2x plus 4. The remainder is positive, so I'll put a plus 5 over 2x minus 1. And that will be our answer. All right, moving on. I know this is a lot to take in, So you have 5 problems that I want you to try on your own. These first 3 should be pretty simple, okay, because you only got 1 term. And then here on the last 2, you got 2 terms, but make sure that you rewrite it, okay? So 5 problems to do on your own. Ciao.